So let's see. Let's welcome T44. Now we are going to bring the topic called road rules or road riddles.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Good morning, judges. Good afternoon, judges. Well, that was certainly something, but I have a question for you and the audience, which is you. Have you ever seen a ridiculous road sign? Because I'm about to show you a couple right now. Take a look at this picture. The sign is not only not being taken very well, it is also being covered by another. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's not a big deal. We'll take a look at this picture. I mean, we got this from SET News, and where is the sign pointing? The bridge? The sky? I don't know. Now take a look at this picture. Now, imagine you have 3 seconds to look at all the signs. You do not have the time to look through all of these signs. And this one. Do I even need to say anything? I could go on and on. I mean, are these road rules or road riddles? Smooth transition, I know.
Really? That was the best you could think of?
Anyway, road rules or road riddle. This is our research topic, and this is also what we are answering and solving today. So, are these really road rules or just road riddles?
Now, before actually getting to anything, let's get a quick look at our table of contents. First, we'll go through our motivation for this project, our 2 research questions, then methodology, where we'll go through a bit of the questionnaire we made for the study. Then, what follows is, of course, data analysis, where we analyze the data we've gotten from the questionnaire. After all that, we wrap it up with our findings, the conclusion we came to, and finally, our references.
Now, let's get into our motivation. While we were searching for a topic, we came across a news article that would be the trigger to our topic of choice today. And that article is right here. So, of course, we don't expect you to read all this little text. So my teammate will summarize it for you, and we'll submit to it on the next slide, which is now.
This is the translations for you. Basically, the government turned a roundabout into a regular 4-way intersection. They wanted to cut down on traffic accidents and make it safer for pedestrians. Because this spot had the worst traffic accident record in the area. So, but even after they made the change, it still had the most accidents. So the government then decided to remodel the road sign. And that seems to make the real difference.
This is the results. There were over 100 traffic accidents in 2024, which dropped to around 85 in 2025, a decrease of about 15%. Although it may not seem like much, this shows us that even the tiniest changes can make the biggest differences. The right here led us into a wormhole of analyzing these kinds of news articles about traffic accidents.
Now, considering the scale of which we are doing this, we made an organization system. The news articles that were caused by road signs, we assigned them with 1, and the ones that were not were assigned with 0.
What else can you write?
It doesn't hurt to clarify.
Since my teammate cannot explain clearly, here is what it looks like. For example, in this top left news report, it has an accident occurred at an intersection without road signs. And since it mentions issues about road signs, we categorize it as 1. Of course, these are not all the articles we found. Actually, we have looked at 100 articles. Out of these 100 articles, we found that 15 to 20% of traffic accidents were caused by road signs.
But that's not all we learned. We learned that the rest of the car accidents were caused by human factors. Yeah, of course, no surprise there. But what I really wanted to say is, these human factors are more difficult to control. However, road signs can. So that's why we are here today, trying our best to fix road signs.
All right, with our motivation, came our questions. Oh, specifically, research questions. Our first question is, how may road signs affect a road user's judgment? And after we know the why, we can know the how to minimize sign reading time and enhance driver decision making.
Now take a look at the text. Our project aims to have new drivers, elderly drivers, and people who drive at night. Because, like we just mentioned, signs can be small, ruined, or complicated. So we strive to make them easier for everyone on the road.
Alright, unclear road signs may cause errors in judgment, increase reaction time, and risk of traffic accidents. Let's get into the purpose of our research. Explore whether the existing road signs are easy to identify, or our research will just be a bit. And analyze whether the modified design we propose are making road signs clearer. Since everyone's idea of clear is different, so we make a questionnaire to ensure the reliability of our proposal.
Now moving on to road sign confusion. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. And here.
And this is the visual diagram. We made some organized road sign confusion for you, including visual clarity, people, standards, environment, procedures, and equipment. Among these categories, we believe that visual clarity is the main element that can be effectively enhanced through proactive design.
We highlighted a few things with red squares, specifically visual clutter, low contrast, and small text size. You'll see these elements a little bit later during our data analysis.
Now moving on to our research methodology. So let's talk about this questionnaire we've been referencing. Now, with this questionnaire, we have 100 people with obviously driver's license. For now, this flow diagram, we use elements of that to create this questionnaire and the redesign of our road signs. Then we did the pilot study, and the final questionnaire was conducted online around January of 2026. The survey's goal was to mainly figure out if our redesign of the road signs really worked.
After hearing that long ramble, you probably have a few questions.
Hey, what do you mean, Rebel?
No worry, because instead of just talking, showing you is more easier. Let's get into our data analysis, showing us if our redesign really works.
This was the questionnaire actually looks like. First, we ask for your age. Then we ask for how long you've been driving. These two questions will be important later. Now take a look at the right of the slide. These are two similar pictures in question 1. One of them is before our redesign, one is after. You can rate these two pictures in terms of helpfulness and clarity.
Now, moving on to the driving experience, just to let you get a feel of who's filling out these forms. Now, we mostly have intermediates and experts fill out these forms, but we try our best to get up the range.
This is picture 1. We only enlarged the front side. Now, I know what you're thinking, but sometimes it is always needed. Let's take a look at the right. The chart shows that the average clarity score of modified road sign is 4, and the original score is only about 2.5. Now let's take a look at the left chart. This chart shows that our modified road sign is there for every age group, especially for senior users.
This is picture 2. We did more than just make the signs bigger. First, we categorized them. This can be especially helpful for tourists. Then we color-coded them, so it can be even easier to tell them apart at a glance. And if that wasn't enough, made sure to put up a sign above for easier viewing. Besides that, we made directions a bit clearer as well.
Now let's analyze this a little bit. Look at this chart. Alright, as you can see, after we color-coded them and categorized them, we got a rating of about 4 points. And then you can see originally, original only got 2.5 points. And over there, you can see, although seniors gave us the lowest ratings overall, you can see the biggest difference in ratings before and after. Which shows us that this redesign helps the seniors us.
And let's get into our conclusion. We have noticed 5 things that we need to pay attention to when making road signs. First, increasing color contrast. Second, reducing excessive text. Third, better indication of directions. Fourth, better visual relative position. And the last one is adjusting spacing between words and letters.
Also, we found that if 13 to 20% accidents are caused by road signs. As we mentioned before, we did an analysis of this report. Then by fixing those signs, we expect to see a decrease of 13 to 20%. It's a direct and significant impact on road safety.
Now finally, our future prospects. Now, if we were to continue this research, we hope to do an eye tracking research. Now, this can do many things, like see what attracts the driver's attention at first, or how long it takes for them to read X amount of signs, and much more. It will be more reliable than a questionnaire, since it's less subjective. And these are references. And thank you
For your attention.
I believe our judges definitely pay attention, right? So, any questions from our honorable judges? Any questions?
First of all, I think you guys have some really unique data organization. So the fishbone diagram, then later like your applied research where you conduct your survey, you have really good data analysis. So it's your work with your data is really, really well done. So I appreciated that from your presentation. My question is you seem to obviously have some results, right, where this is an obvious improvement. Okay, so why don't you think this is happening right now?
Well, I feel like the answer is obvious because it takes a lot of time and money to do. Like changing every single design would take a lot of time, which I think is a caveat to our research. But maybe in places with more accidents, we hope to change those road signs first. Yeah.
So I think you've learned kind of something important for something like researchers or scientists is that funding is always your issue.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I saw is you have proposals for future research. So the next important thing about researchers is asking for more funding for your projects.
Yeah.
So you're already learning how to be very good scientists. Thank you.
So I also agree with Mark. So I can see that like the scientific methodologies that you have been using, like how did you collect all the data and do the surveys, and how did you analyze the data to support your finding? So this is a very good usage of scientific approach. And it is true that like if you are very STEM focused, but like in your future, for your future next step, you will also need to see how you can convince other parties to support you. If you have already identified this issue, this problem, and you have all your data to support it, but how can you convince others? Then you may have to implement other skills that you can convince others. Different angle, that will be for your future benefits, that would be very good. And I appreciate that, like for today's, like the past two group, that you guys are very good at. Like you come up being bold to be here, get out from the cars, like in front of us, and do a very minimum presentations to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from our judges? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for the advice.